Bulldog Bob Brown against the Dynamite Kid. And here's Bob Brown grabbing Brown has grabbed my microphone. Bob Brown wants to...
First of all, let me remind you one thing, that I don't stand a chance as long as you're referee, Leo Burke, and this is ridiculous. And let me remind you one thing, it's bad enough now to...
Well, there goes the bell, and the match is underway. Bulldog Bob Brown, the Dynamite Kid, one half of the British Bulldogs. And I guess you could say this is the Battle of the Bulldogs here in World Grand Prix Wrestling for the International Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. Dynamite putting it up right away. That was conditional upon Brown arriving from Calgary, where he was wrestling with the Stampede Wrestling Promotion and TSN. And here's Dynamite just after winning the belt this past Sunday in Antigonish, putting it on the line against a very capable veteran, but one that Maritime fans nevertheless have found despicable over the years, Bulldog Bob Brown. There's Brown off the ropes, somewhat dazed as Dynamite applies the headlock. Dynamite going to work. Dynamite trying to tear Brown's head right off his body. The Dynamite Kid has certainly made a tremendous impact here on World Grand Prix Wrestling. Leo Burke, special referee, counting right away. Brown's shoulders were on the mat. Count of 2. Brown is scrambling to get back into the ring. And Bulldog Bob Brown is really wondering if he ever should have come back to the Maritimes. Here's a test of strength. Brown slapping the face of the Dynamite Kid, and that may prove to be a mistake. That may prove to be a big mistake. And tit for tat. Turnabout is fair play, and the Bulldog gets whacked in the side of the ears himself. Here's the Dynamite Kid. Headbutt. Dynamite going to work. There's an elbow. Dynamite pin. 1, 2. And Brown is able to kick out. The International Heavyweight Wrestling Championship is on the line here. Dynamite Kid defending against Bulldog Bob Brown, who has looked anything but like a worthy challenger here at the Cocan Arena. Now Brown, reaching into the tights, has pulled something out. Bulldog Bob Brown used some sort of object, pulled out of the tights. Leo Burke, of course, the special referee, checking, but finding nothing, and Bulldog Bob Brown has now gained the advantage. Brown once again reaching for the tights. Brown telling the crowd to shut up as he goes about his business with the Dynamite Kid. Here's Bulldog Bob Brown. He's got a hold of Dynamite by the bridge of the nose before Leo Burke is in to break it up. Leo Burke doing a great job of officiating, but Leo's got to get a hold of that foreign object. The object obviously being used by Bulldog Bob Brown, and Leo Burke wants to see it. Brown claiming his innocence, but I don't think Leo Burke is convinced, and neither are the fans here at the Cocan Arena or those at home watching on television. Here's Brown coming out of the ring. going after the Dynamite Kid. Oh, my. Here's Dynamite getting rammed into the plexiglass surrounding the rink boards here at the Cocan Arena. Bulldog Bob Brown trying to turn this international championship match into a street fight. And Dynamite is down, and he definitely hurt. Dynamite getting to his feet, climbing back into the ring. There's Brown. Brown using the object once again. And here's Bulldog going down. The Dynamite Kid, 2, and a kick out by Brown. Boy, you have to admire the British Bulldog, the Dynamite Kid, for coming back the way he has. And now Leo Burke has found the concealed object. It slipped out of Brown's trunks, and Burke is going to keep that. His referee's trousers for safekeeping, and Brown won't be resorting to that sort of tactic any longer. There's a count of 2 before Brown rolls out of the ring. Great action here in this championship match, and now the Dynamite Kid is going outside the ring area onto the cement floor. Here's Bulldog Bob Brown being tossed back in. Dynamite leg drop, pin attempt, 2, and Brown is able to kick out. Dynamite's got Bob Brown in a chin lock. Dynamite Kid has wrestled a superb match were it not for the illegal tactics of Bulldog Bob Brown. Here's the British Bulldog off the middle rope and down hard. Just a count of 2. Just a count of 2. Dynamite thought it was 3. But we saw it as 2, and here's Dynamite with Bulldog Bob Brown in the sleeper hold. It could be all over. It could be all over. Oh, my. Here comes Jerry Morrow in with the chair. Jerry Morrow threw the chair into the ring. Leo Burke's got the chair. Here's Cuban Assassin attacking Leo Burke from behind. Cuban Assassin attacked Leo Burke from behind, and now Steve Casey's into the ring. 1, 2, 3, 6 men in the ring all told. We've got utter pandemonium breaking loose here at the Cocan Arena, folks. Somehow we've got to straighten this situation out. Dynamite trying to get rid of the Cuban Assassin. And here's Bulldog Bob Brown beating a hasty retreat to the dressing room. And the Dynamite Kid has been awarded the match, and rightfully so, by virtue of disqualification, as Steve Casey stares down Bulldog Bob Brown. Dynamite Kid, the winner of the match by virtue of Brown's disqualification.
Hey, listen here. Bulldog Bob Brown, Cuban Commandos. I'm sick and I'm tired of the interference. I had Bob Brown beat right in the middle of this ring. Now, let's make a deal here. Let's solve the problem. Next week, in this ring. We want a six-man elimination tag team with you, Morrow, with the Assassin, and with Bob Brown. We want you in this ring in a six-man tag next week. Elimination rules. If you get pinned, you go back to the dressing room.
Six-man tag team action. I think it could perhaps solve this situation whereby Leo Burke, Dynamite Kid, Steve Casey have had enough of the interference, and as a result may get an even break as the result of a six-man tag team. Leo.
Just like to explain one thing, Gare. This is a six-man elimination tag we're after. Now, if one man gets beat, he must return to the dressing room, which means it could be 3 against 2. It could go down to 3 against 1. We'll go on until everybody's eliminated. The last man in the ring will be the winner.
Thanks for joining us. See you next week on World. Hello again, wrestling fans. Gare Maxwell with you. World Grand Prix Wrestling on location at the Cocan Arena. And what a show we have lined up for you. The Cuban Commandos, they are the International Tag Team Champions. Rotten Ron Starr will be on the program, as well as Leo Burke. And an incredible main event. You won't want to miss this one. The Beast in against the likes of King Harley Race, managed by Frenchie Martin. So you won't want to miss that. Let's get started by going to ring announcer Joe Siegel.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first match on today's program is a tag team action match. Already in the ring from Beverly Hills, California, weighing 225 pounds, the ever-popular Buddy Lane. His tag team partner is from Miami Beach, Florida, weighing 220 pounds, rock and roller Wayne Gillis. And their opponents making their way down to the ring area, known as the Cuban Commandos. Introducing first from Martinique, weighing 245 pounds, Jerry Morrow. His tag team partner is from Havana, Cuba, weighing 235 pounds, the Cuban Assassin. And they are the current North American Tag Team Champions. Your referee for this match is Bernie Richard.
Well, here we are at ringside. Gare Maxwell joining you. The Cuban Commandos, fresh from their assault on former partner Leo Burke last week. Here they are in action defending their North American tag team belts against the likes of Buddy Lane and the rock and roller Wayne Gillis. And I'll tell you, fans in the Maritimes have really soured on the likes of Jerry Morrow and the Cuban Assassin, the Cuban Commandos, after what they performed on Leo Burke. Front cranial surgery. Cuban, of course, splitting Burke's head wide open. Many of you saw it here on television last week. They were once the closest of friends. The Cuban Assassin and Leo Burke having teamed up on many occasions. One can only wonder at this point what happened to affect the relationship of the Cuban Assassin and Leo Burke. And in fact, the relationship between the Cuban Commando tag team and the pride of the Maritimes, Leo Burke. It's something that we will touch on later in this program. For now, let's concentrate on the action in the ring as Wayne Gillis takes down Jerry Morrow. A new tag team, Buddy Lane and Wayne Gillis. They're getting a crack here at those North American belts. And, of course, they go in as the underdogs against this very potent and, in fact, lethal combination of the Cuban Assassin and Jerry Morrow. Gillies with a headlock on Jerry Morrow, and great move by Gillies, and look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my, Wayne Gillies with some outstanding wrestling maneuvers. And the fans are just loving it. The Cuban Assassin trying to interfere. And he paid the price. Jerry Morrow and the Cuban Assassin have made themselves a lot of enemies. And now Morrow climbing back into the ring to face rock and roller Wayne Gillies. There's a tag. Morrow and the Cuban Assassin did make the tag. Cuban may be holding a foreign object. I thought I saw the Cuban Assassin reach for the boot. Referee Bernie Richard checking for a possible contraband. The fans at ringside are convinced that the Cuban Assassin is carrying some sort of concealed object. Now here's Buddy Lane in against the Cuban Assassin. There is absolutely no need for the Cuban Assassin to resort to these kind of tactics. But he has obviously joined the dark side of professional wrestling, and now will stop at nothing to gain a victory. There's Buddy Lane, a beautiful flying drop kick, and another. Buddy Lane with all kinds of heat on the Cuban Assassin. Here's a tag, and Jerry Morrow slowly climbing into the ring, and he's welcomed with an arm drag, and down goes Jerry Morrow. We'd like to mention all the cards and letters we're receiving here at World Grand Prix Wrestling. They are certainly welcome. We had a great note from Charlottetown the other day, and we certainly hope to be at the Charlottetown Forum in the near future. And if you care to write to us here at World Grand Prix Wrestling, you can do so. I'll give you a moment to get your pen and paper ready, and I'll give you the address as we watch Buddy Lane ready to tag up with rock and roller Wayne Gillies. Lane with an armbar here on Jerry Morrow. And now he's reversing the hold. Flying pressure to the left arm, and here's the Cuban Assassin in to interfere. And the Cuban Assassin and Jerry Morrow. And look at this. Wayne Gillies and Buddy Lane are going to town on the Cuban Assassin and Jerry Morrow. The Cuban Assassin obviously looking bewildered. And Jerry Morrow's not too sure about this situation either. This could call for a huddle on the part of the Cuban Commandos. Morrow gets back into the ring as Buddy Lane goes to work. Here's a tag, and in comes Wayne Gillies. That address, incidentally, World Grand Prix Wrestling, care of ATV, 191 Halifax Street, Moncton. That's World Grand Prix Wrestling, care of ATV, 191 Halifax Street in Moncton, New Brunswick. Now, here's the Cuban Assassin for an object. No question about it. I saw it in plain view. The camera picked it up. There he is again, reaching into the trunks, reaching into those combat fatigues. And there was no doubt about it. The Cuban Assassin is carrying a concealed weapon. Referee Bernie Richard apparently unaware. The fans, of course, are going crazy at ringside. Buddy Lane, I think, is trying to tell referee Bernie Richard that the Cuban Assassin has a weapon. Now here's Jerry Morrow from on high. Buddy Lane in to interfere as Morrow is going for the pin. Jerry Morrow in against rock and roller Wayne Gillies. Here's Gillies off the rope, and a double clothesline from the Cuban Commandos. Buddy Lane trying his best to encourage Wayne Gillies, who there is victimized by a neck breaker. In comes Lane to put the boot to the head of Jerry Morrow and break up that pin attempt. Here's Morrow whipping Gillies off the rope. Gillies able to come back. Let's see if Gillies can make it for the tag. Yes! And here comes Buddy Lane. Lane with a chop. And down goes Jerry Morrow hard to the mat. Cuban Assassin has thoughts of going from the top rope, but he does so the hard way. And now Buddy Lane has Morrow going head first into his partner. Morrow now whipping Lane off the ropes. Jerry Morrow is once again climbing those top ropes. Jerry Morrow having difficulty against Buddy Lane, and now Lane has joined Morrow. And look at this suplex. Wayne Gillies in to break it up with the Cuban Assassin. Here's the Cuban Assassin, a double pile driver. The referee, Bernie Richard, trying to restrain Wayne Gillies. 1, 2, 3, it's all over. The Cuban Commandos successfully defend their title and will be right back.
40 pounds, Pat Brady. And his opponent is making his way to the ring area. Hails from Montreal, Quebec, weighing 235 pounds, Phil Lefleur. And your referee for this match is Ron Gauguin.
Well, this should be a dandy match for all you fans watching. Phil Lefleur, an exciting newcomer to World Grand Prix Wrestling out of Montreal. This guy is highly touted by many of the World Wrestling Alliances and federations. He is labeled as a can't-miss prospect, a possible world contender one of these days. And here he is. We're very fortunate to have him with World Grand Prix Wrestling. Phil Lefleur in against another newcomer who is making a lot of noise in Pat Brady. Pat Brady is a second cousin of Rowdy Roddy Piper, and that's where the Scottish connection comes into play. Brady and Lefleur, and this should be an outstanding match. Of course, coming up later, we talked about it, the main event, Harley Race in against the Beast. And look at that move by Phil Lefleur. Lefleur really becoming a fan favorite. And that's one of the reasons why not only does he wrestle within the rules, but also has a flair for the spectacular. Here he is against Pat Brady, who is, I think, getting a little more than upset with the treatment he is receiving at the hands of Mr. Lefleur. Brady now with a hammerlock on Lefleur, applying pressure on that left arm. Lefleur is a great athlete. He's in superb shape.
Move over for an expert here, Mr. Maxwell.
And hold on a second. Hold the phone. We have gracing us at ringside, Rotten Ron Starr.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, what a chop. You know, Gary, I don't know how much you know about this young man, Phil Lefleur, but I'm going to tell you something. He's one of the best there is in the business today. You know, I had the privilege of wrestling him several times in Calgary. I was in Puerto Rico. He just came back from a big tour of Japan. The man's been all around the world, and I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Hey, the man's good. What can I say?
Rotten Ron Starr, I want to get your thoughts on the current controversy within World Grand Prix Wrestling. The unprovoked attack, the Cuban assassin turning on Leo Burke. We all saw it on television last week. Your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is nothing was unprovoked there, Gary. You know, it's simple as the nose on your face. Leo Burke came in, he hit Cuban right square in the head with a chair. What would you have done, Gary, if somebody had come in and hit you?
That was accidental.
No.
Totally
Nothing
accidental.
Leo Burke does is accidental. Believe me, I've been partners with the man. I fought him many, many times in the ring. I defeated him in New Orleans in front of 72,000 people for the international heavyweight belt. Nothing he does is by any accident. Getting back to the match in the ring here, you see this LaFleur taking it in. My man Pat Brady reverses it in a face-first turnbuckle, and LaFleur is down.
Phil LaFleur currently reeling from the punishment he is receiving at the hands of Pat Brady.
Well, you know, Garrett, it's like they say, it's not over until the fat lady sings. So we're just going to have to sit back and see what happens. It looks like these men are pretty evenly matched. They're about the same weight, the same height. Oh, a beautiful amateur move, a chest-to-chest suplex. LaFleur is down. Come on, Brady, stay on him, buddy. Take it to him.
Ron Starr cheering on Pat Brady at ringside. And there's Brady, and he obviously guessed a little too soon on that maneuver.
Yeah, he's got a single-leg Boston crab there. That'll stretch that knee right out. You know, that reverse spinning kick that Pat Brady used there. I'm going to tell you people something. There's not any that does it any better than this man, Phil LaFleur. And if he gets a chance, he'll put your lights out with it. I'm one to tell you because he caught me in Calgary one night with it and knocked out 2 front teeth and broke my nose. So I know what I'm talking about. The man's lightning fast. He knows a lot of karate, a lot of martial arts. Brady slows him down, got a front face lock, and you see here, Gary, how he's got that chin barred across his forearm there. That ensures the fact that Phil LaFleur is not going anywhere.
Rotten Ron Starr, I want to touch on the subject of Leo Burke once again.
Gary, I think you're trying to put me on a spot here.
Well, in the sense that no matter what you say about Leo Burke, you can't deny he is still the international heavyweight wrestling champion, and you're not.
Well, that's only because he hasn't given me a... Oh, nice move. That's only because he hasn't given me a title match. Once I get a title match with Leo Burke, Gary, you know it, I know it, and all the stinking fishermen and potato farmers in the Maritimes know that Ron Starr will beat him and be the international heavyweight champion again.
Now that was totally uncalled for.
Accidental. The man was kicking out. Pat Brady was in a pin situation. He just tried to kick out. And maybe he caught a low blow there. I couldn't see it from my vantage point here. But, hey, Gary, that's why they call it one-on-one contact. A beautiful reverse.
Funny how you can't see the same things that I do here at ringside.
Well, that's understandable. I'm American and you're not.
Here's Pat Brady. Here's Pat Brady with a boot into the throat of Phil LaFleur.
Well, I tell you, he's not going to beat a man the caliber of Phil LaFleur by putting a boot to the throat without following it up. The name of the game's wrestling, and I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to take the man down with a good power move, maybe even a high-risk maneuver, take him down, take his wheels out from under him, whatever it takes, bar that inside leg, and hook it in tight and go for it.
Here's suplex attempt, and down goes LaFleur. Here's a cover by Brady. 1, 2, and LaFleur is able to kick out Brady, arguing that it was a slow count.
It looked like a slow count here to me, too. You know, I tell you, sometimes I wonder about this referee. You know, just last week when I had the Cuban pin there, the man was very, very slow in getting over for his count. Sometimes I think this referee's a little bit partial.
How are you going to... You bring something else up. How's a guy like Rotten Ron Starr going to put all the animosity with the Cuban assassin out of your mind? Now you seem to be cheering the guy on.
Well, you know, there's an old saying, I can forgive, but I can't forget. And that's exactly the way it's going to be with the Cuban. I can forgive him for what's happened in the past. You know, the Cuban and I were friends in the past for many, many years. We had a separating, he went his way, I went mine. That's fine and dandy. I don't take nothing from Cuban. He did what he thought was right, and I've done what I thought was right. I stand up for myself because I know nobody else will. I have to take it all the way. And as far as the Cuban goes, the only thing I can do is just keep my eyes on him and see where he goes from here. There, Phil LaFleur went for a big splash. Pat Brady brought the knees up. And
Here's a Leo Burke maneuver, the abdominal stretch. Pat Brady has it applied on Phil LaFleur. There's no way LaFleur's about to submit.
You know, there's only one thing, Gary, from here. You can't see it on the monitor, but Mr. Brady's making one mistake. He doesn't have that leg grapevine with his, and that's going to give the man, Phil LaFleur, who's got really a lot of upper body strength, a chance to power out of it just like he did then.
That hip toss is able to break the hold, and now LaFleur has a moment to try and recover. Here's LaFleur coming off.
Big, solid forearm across the chest.
Right off the ropes, and now another one. LaFleur able to stop Pat Brady in his tracks. And look at that. Left forearm going after Pat Brady, who is now down on the mat.
I'm going to tell you this, Brady's got to keep moving. You can't give LaFleur a chance to get on you. If you do, here's what I was talking about. This man, Phil LaFleur, does not hesitate to take a high-risk move, goes to the top
Phil
of the
LaFleur
beautiful
off
splash.
the top rope. 1, 2, 3. This one is all over.
Barely made it. Inside hook. Got to hook that leg.
What a great comeback on the part of Phil LaFleur. His arm raised in victory as he was able to absorb the punishment and come from behind that move off the top rope, keying the victory over that man, Pat Brady, and World Grand Prix Wrestling returns.
One fall with a 20-minute time limit. Entering the ring right now is from Mongolia, weighing 260 pounds, the Mongolian. And his opponent, making his way to the ring area, hails from Dorchester, New Brunswick, weighing 237 pounds, Leo Burke. And your referee for this match is Bernie Richard.
Well, here we are at ringside. Gare Maxwell watching Leo Burke ready to step in against the Mongolian. There you see Burke taped up, still feeling the effects of that attack sustained last week at the hands of the Cuban assassin. Here he is in against the Mongolian. We're joined at ringside by Frenchie Martin.
Yes, Mr. Maxwell.
Who I know took great pleasure in watching that disgusting act.
Well, I
on the
think
part
it's
of the
about
Cuban
time.
assassin
I
against
think
Leo
it's
Burke.
about time that Leo Burke gets what he deserves. You know, Leo Burke's been here in the Maritime as an idol for a lot of people, but I don't think he's a wrestler that the people should be proud of. I don't see what the guy's got.
And look what Leo Burke is doing right away. Leo Burke is obviously upset. Obviously a man on a mission, and here he goes whipping the Mongolian post to post.
What I don't understand is what everybody says about Leo Burke is such a great wrestler. And the first thing he does is go right to work with the kick and punches as you've seen him. I don't blame him. I think he's not only mad, I think his madness is not realizing how big and how strong the Mongolian is.
Well, Leo Burke has obviously got the upper hand here on the Mongolian. I've made the comment before, Frenchie, the Mongolian's not going to win too many beauty contests.
Well, that's not the point. I don't think Leo Burke could win any contest at all. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to start managing some of the guys and give Leo Burke and the likes of Leo Burke the hardest time they ever had in their career.
You're going to get into managing.
I will. I'll do whatever I want here, Maxwell. Let me tell you this. Anything I want. You see when I played with the kid last week?
Here's the Mongolian with a face rake on Leo Burke. The Mongolian going after Leo. There's a right hand, and a Mongolian has reopened the cut on Leo Burke, and he is ripping Leo Burke's forehead.
Burke is not going to get any sympathy from the Mongolian, and it's about time. I told you.
How can you sit here
That
and
guy
say
is
that?
bigger than Leo Burke. Leo Burke's a nobody.
There is no need for that in professional wrestling.
That's about time Leo Burke gets his own medicine. He's looked for it for years.
The Mongolian has reopened that gash on Leo Burke's forehead that he received last week from the Cuban assassin.
I think you might not see Leo Burke wrestle for a while.
Leo Burke is obviously going to have to go for stitches to get this thing repaired properly. Here's Leo Burke. Big boot coming off the rope.
Yeah, great move. It's a kick. That's nothing to do with wrestling.
Leo Burke.
A punch. That has nothing to do with wrestling.
Leo Burke.
Say it like it is, Maxwell House.
I'll say what.
Kicks and punches.
I'll tell you what's going on. Leo Burke is worked up into a fury. Here he is, the international heavyweight champ, whipping the Mongolian. And here it is, the sleeper hold.
That's a chokehold.
This is a sleeper hold, perfectly legal.
Come on, I'm telling you it's a chokehold. Everybody see it. The guy's not breathing.
You can say what you want, Frenchie, but it's obviously accepted within the rules and the regulations of World Grand Prix Wrestling.
The Mongolian's not asleep yet.
There goes the Mongolian into
Referee
dreamland.
stop the fight because Leo Burke is bleeding too much.
And rockabye Mongolian. This one's all over.
He got lucky.
And Leo Burke, his arm raised in victory, walks out a winner once again. We'll be back.
Today's program is one fall with a 20-minute time limit. Already in the ring from Moncton, New Brunswick, weighing 239 pounds, stomping Paul Feller. And his opponent, making his way to the ring area, hails from New Orleans, weighing 236 pounds, Rotten Ron Starr.
And the referee for this match is Ron Gauguin. Paul Peller, stomping Paul Peller, who's become a fan favorite, is brandishing, well, I guess that's a billy club of sorts. It proved to be very effective in breaking up a brawl on television last week. Rotten Ron Starr wanted no part of that particular weapon, and now we're set to go with Ron Starr in against stomping Paul Peller, a real cagey veteran of the sport. We're joined at ringside now by the king of professional wrestling, Harley Race. And Harley, you've got quite a task on your hands coming up, a main event encounter with none other than the Beast.
Anytime you go in a ring with a Beast, you know you're in for nothing but a street ball, a fight. And that's what I'm expecting. What we're going to watch right here, right now, is a classic Ron Starr. Paul Peller may be great, but he's nowhere near close to the gentleman that he's in the ring.
Oh, stomping Paul Peller showing some moves that Ron Starr I don't think has seen before.
He floats like a bee. He stings like a fly.
Harley Race.
That's just the option of what it should be.
Harley Race, I have to take you to task for some of the tactics you've been employing here on World Grand Prix Wrestling. A man of your stature, a man of your ability. I find it hard to comprehend why you have to resort to such tactics.
A man of my stature and a man of my ability does exactly what he wants, when he wants to do it, and doesn't really care what anyone else thinks about it. Just like right then, if you've been watching, Ron Starr really didn't care what Paul Peller thought when he reached up and slapped him.
As far as the action in the ring is concerned, I think even Harley Race would have to admit that Paul Peller is more than holding his own here against Rotten Ron Starr.
I didn't say he wasn't going to hold his own. I just told you that he is outclassed. Paul Peller's a great wrestler, but he's outclassed.
Now stopping Paul Peller with that crazy dance of his, I think, has Rotten Ron Starr off balance.
That one definitely caught Starr off balance. There he is back again. He's paying for it.
Nice takedown by Starr, and then he follows up with a boot to the back area, then a knee to the forehead. Starr kicking away at his opponent. Ron Starr now in control here against stomping Paul Peller. And here's an eye rake right across the top rope. That is certainly painful.
See how you can utilize rules? Rules are always made to be broken.
And in wrestling, right there is a perfect example of how a smart guy uses the rules in his favor.
There's Starr pulling the tights of Peller down around the midsection and using his fingernails to claw into the back of Paul Peller. An elbow to the side of the head. An elbow to the top of the head. There's Peller coming off the rope. A hard right hand. Starr comes back with another right. Head into the turnbuckle. These guys are really going at it. Stomping Paul Peller and rotting around Starr.
One thing I can say about Grand Prix wrestling, when you're watching Grand Prix wrestling, you're watching nothing but pure action from the time the bell rings till it's over.
Rotting around Starr with Peller on the mat. Starr is hungry for another shot at that International Heavyweight Wrestling Championship belt, currently worn by a proud champion and a deserving one in Leo Burke.
That's your opinion, of course.
And an opinion shared by many observers, I might add, Harley.
It's shared by a few of these people around here that got that familiar smell of fish. That belt belongs around the waist of a man the caliber of the gentleman in the ring, Ron Starr, myself, or Frenchie Martin, somebody that's adverse at everything.
Harley, what's this about you being managed by Frenchie Martin?
Frenchie Martin.
If you're so great, if you're as great as you say you are, why do you need someone else?
I don't need any human being on the face of the earth, but like I said, I'm a very intelligent guy. I utilize anything that happens to be around at the time. Frenchie Martin and myself were together in Paris. We just made an extensive trip throughout Europe. And Martin is a very, very wise ring veteran. If he's sitting in my dressing room and he's willing to do it, why not utilize that talent?
Stomping Paul Peller out on the cement floor, trying to collect his thoughts and gain some momentum here against Rotten Ron Starr. Here's Starr, intent on bringing Peller in the hard way. Peller goes back down on the floor.
He's smart, that's where he'll stay.
I think Paul Peller deserves a lot of credit for the way he's performed in this match. He is the obvious underdog. Starr now climbing out of the ring, going after Paul Peller, who grabs a chair.
See what I mean? See what I mean? Right there you go. A typical New Brunswick style.
Peller wound up getting the chair on the flush of the back area as Starr was able to block that attack, and now Starr whipping Peller into the turnbuckle. There's a clothesline.
Now, wouldn't you say that Peller deserved what he got then?
Well, I have to admit that Peller probably had no business picking up the chair, but in light of some of the punishment he has endured, I think he had every right.
You're supposed to be able to endure the punishment, or you're not supposed to get in the ring. And he's in there with a gentleman that loves dishing it out.
Ron Starr and Paul Peller. And here's Peller off the ropes, sending Starr down on his back. Peller with the crowd behind him, and he could be dangerous if he gets worked up. Here's Peller with a boot to the midsection. Paul Peller not able to, or rather not about to relax here against Rotten Ron Starr. And there's a case of the referee getting too involved as far as I'm concerned.
The referee's just doing his job. He was supposed to stop Paul Peller from punching. He was just doing his job.
Nevertheless, that gave the opportunity for Starr to come back with a closed fist of his own and gain the advantage over Paul Peller, who slugs Starr with a hard right. This has been a great match here on World Grand Prix Wrestling. Here Maxwell and Harley race.
Peller got him up there that time.
With you at the ringside. Here's a cover by Peller, the count of 2, and Starr is able to escape. Here's Starr post to post, and Peller runs into a big boot. Here's a Boston Crab attempt, I believe.
That is a submission. That is a submission.
And Starr is using the ropes to gain leverage. Paul Peller trying to get out of the
Utilizing what has to be. That's it. Ring the bell. Ring the bell.
It's all over. Rotten Ron Starr gaining the submission hold with the assistance of the ropes, undetected by referee Ron Dogan.
Wait a minute. What have we got climbing over the rope here? What have we got coming near the ring?
Chester, New Brunswick, weighing 250 pounds, the Maritime's own, the Beast. And his opponent, making his way to the ring area, is from Kansas City, Missouri, weighing 251 pounds, the king of wrestling, Harley Race. And he is accompanied to the ring area by his manager, Frenchie Martin.
Mesdames et messieurs, c'est très facile à comprendre. Je vous présente le roi de la lutte, Harley Race.
And your referee for the match, Bernie Richard.
Well, here we are at ringside for what should be a tremendous main event. The Beast in against Harley Race, renewing an old rivalry from years gone by here at the Cocan Arena. The only twist on this particular matchup is the presence of the manager, Frenchie Martin. And you have to be very concerned about the likes of Frenchie Martin being at ringside.
Well, to start with, Gary Maxwell, you don't have to worry about Frenchie being there.
Hold on a second. I wasn't asking you. I was making an intelligent observation regarding Martin and the threat he possesses as far as interference is concerned. And here goes the Beast in against King Harley Race.
Yeah, well, nothing you do is intelligent, just like Leo Burke and the rest of these Maritimers. You know, I want to know, how the hell does the referee say I held the rope in that last match? There's no way. I had the man in a Boston Crab. I didn't have to have the outside interference or anything else, just like the King Harley Race won't need Frenchie Martin for no more than moral support.
Rotten Ron Starr obviously frustrated by his repeated failures to gain the International Championship belt. Many of you saw on television moments ago, not able to gain the victory over Stompin' Paul Peller.
Yeah, but he did give up. He gave up, and everybody in the arena heard it. And just because this Maritimer, Leo Burke, comes in here, thinks he's God or something, comes in and tells the referee something, they switch it like he's the Almighty. Well, I got news for you. As soon as Leo Burke, the Beast, or any of the rest of them want to try Ron Starr, the same thing's going to happen to them that happened to Paul Peller. They're going to give up and beg for mercy.
King Harley Race down onto the ring floor.
Do it, Harley, do it. Good one, good one.
Into the interview table goes the head of the Beast, King Harley Race, now using the chair on the Beast.
Stay on him, Harley, right into the post there, Gare. Let's see what the Beast is made of now. Well, what I want to know is what circus did they get this guy out of to start with? Big knee lift to the Beast, and he's got him rocking and a-reeling. Great balls of fire, baby. What's it all about?
Here's King Harley Race whipping the Beast into the ropes, but Beast doesn't go down all that easy. Here's a cover attempt, count of two, before King Harley Race is able to kick out.
A big boot to the chest. You know, I tell you, sometimes I wonder about these Klondikes that the Beast wears. You know, I kind of think they must be loaded. Oh, a big turnbuckle there, and Harley Race goes backwards over the top rope out onto the concrete floor, Gare.
There you get an idea, Ron Starr, of the strength of the Beast.
Well, I never denied the man strong. I've been in the ring with him before. I know what he's made of. The man's unbelievably strong. For his size, pound for pound, he's probably one of the strongest men in professional wrestling today. He can take you by one hand and whip you in there, and he's got a big, vicious bear hug that I'm here to tell you will make a bear give up.
Here he is, the Beast, with the bear hug in on King Harley Race, and this is the interference I talked about, and oh my, it backfires.
What's going on here, Gare? No way. No way could that be like like that.
The Beast gaining the victory, but now the subject of a vicious
Tap
attack.
dance, boys. Do it to him. Tap dance on him.
A vicious attack now.
What's Burke doing in there? What's
Here's
Leo Burke doing in there?
Leo Burke to the rescue of his brother, the Beast. And now Ron Starr has left the interview table to attack Leo Burke. The Beast is the winner of this match, but that hardly matters at this point, as we've got Jerry Morrow coming into the ring. The rock and roller Wayne Gillies. Here comes the Cuban assassin. Leo Burke, his head is split wide open. The Beast and Frenchie Martin are going at it in the center of the ring before Frenchie is able to escape. We've got as many as 8 or 9 wrestlers, and the Beast, his arm raised in victory, has won the match, and as it turns out, the brawl. What action here at the Coke Can Arena, and I don't know if it's over yet, folks. The Cuban assassin looks like he wants to get back into it with Leo Burke. We, of course, saw what happened last week on television. The Cuban attacking Leo Burke with the chair, splitting him wide open. That wound has reopened. And now it looks as though we're going to have an unscheduled rematch. Don't go away. Nobody's going for coffee right now, I can tell you. The Cuban assassin, he's got the watch off. It looks as though he's ready to go. Leo Burke in his wrestling tights. Watch the Cuban assassin. Jerry Morrow is trying to restrain the Cuban. Stumping Paul Peller has now climbed into the ring to the aid of Leo Burke, and it looks like Jerry Morrow wants to get involved in this action as well. And here come the Cuban Commandos. This was not part of the program, folks, and here comes Jerry Morrow in the hard way. And just like that, Morrow is able to get out of town in a hurry. Here's Morrow running to the rescue, or running to the safety net provided by Frenchie Martin. The Cuban assassin and Jerry Morrow, they have touched off a powder keg here in the Maritimes with World Grand Prix Wrestling. The promoter, Emile Dupree, is trying to help straighten things out. Cuban assassin is back on the ring apron. Now Harley Race is climbing into the ring, ready to attack Leo Burke. And we've got another unscheduled bout underway. This is an all-out brawl, ladies and gentlemen. And here we go again. Here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 8, 9 men in the ring. Leo Burke, his head is once again gushing blood, and the Cuban assassin goes out over the top rope, thanks to Phil LaFleur, dressed in street clothes. And the Beast is now attacking Jerry Moore. There you see Ron Starr trying to split open the head of Leo Burke. Paul Peller in to help out Leo Burke. Harley Race is taking a licking at the hands of rocker Wayne Gillies. And Harley Race is on his way out of town. Leo Burke now going after King Harley Race. And oh my! You see it for yourself, folks. We're in the middle of a Pier 6 brawl here on World Grand Prix Wrestling. Leo Burke and Harley Race back into the middle of the ring. I can't believe it. I've never seen such uncontrolled fury, such unrestrained action. Leo Burke and King Harley Race. Oh, my! The King has certainly been crowned on that occasion. And Leo Burke is still standing. Leo Burke is still standing. We'd like to get over and get a word with Leo Burke, if it is at all possible.
Cuban assassin, I treated you better than my own brother. I brought you to my house. I fed you, and you turned your back on me. Remember one thing. I never asked you to be my partner. You asked me. Remember that, Cuban assassin?
Okay. We'll be right back with more.
In the Maritime, but it looks to me like it's going to be tougher than ever. Their guys are bigger, they're meaner, and a lot of them have you seen before, and I've seen before, and we battled with chain match, we done it all. And the only thing I can say, us Maritimer better be on the ball and got to be sharp if we're going to be around, because it looks like the competition is tough, and we're going to be tough too.
Can't imagine what's ahead next week on World Grand Prix Wrestling. Again, wrestling fans all over the Maritimes, and welcome to another great action-packed program of World Grand Prix Wrestling. We've got another fantastic card coming up featuring the #1 contenders for the Continental Tag Team titles. I'm talking, of course, about Leo Burke and Bobby Kay. They're getting their chance later in this program against Diamond Timothy Flowers and No Class Bass. You're finally getting that shot.
Well, Gare, I've had a lot of partners in the past. Stephen Pettipaw, the Beast, Cuban Assassin, to name a few, but I've never had the success, I don't think, that I've had with Bobby in the past. I'm very excited about having another chance with Bobby tonight.
All right, good luck to both of you, Bobby and Leo, and we'll certainly look forward to that match. It's coming up. Let's go now to our ring announcer, Joe Seelig, with the introduction for tonight's first.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first match on today's program is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Vancouver, BC, weighing 230 pounds, Mike Lozansky. And his opponent hails from Anchorage, Alaska, weighing 260 pounds, the Alaskan Bear. And your referee for this match, Greg Burnham.
Well, here we are set to go from the Petitcodiac Arena. World Grand Prix Wrestling getting things underway with the veteran Alaskan Bear and against one of the exciting newcomers to World Grand Prix Wrestling, Mike Lozansky out of Vancouver. Of course, we've got Bulldog Bob Brown on hand, as per usual. And already I understand the Bulldog is somewhat upset that the team of Leo Burke and Bobby Kay are now ranked #1 among contenders for the Continental Tag Team titles and have signed a contract to go after those titles on this program against Diamond Timothy Flowers and No Class Bass.
You know, Gary, people that do the ranking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they got to be daydreaming or they don't know what they're talking about professional wrestling. Now, you tell me in your right mind, how does Bobby Kay and Leo Burke be #1 contenders when they just tagged up? And this is their first chance tonight. Where did they become #1? I don't think it's fair, because I tell you what, there's a lot of good tag teams around that should have had the opportunity to go against Bobby Bass and Diamond Timothy Flowers. And all I can tell you is there's something wrong at the junction somewhere where they come up and give the #1 contender to Leo Burke and Bobby Kay. I think it's a disgrace to professional wrestling, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to sit back and watch, and I'm going to sit back and laugh, because I think Diamond Timothy Flowers and No Class Bobby Bass are just a wee bit better team than their opponents here tonight.
Well, it certainly remains to be seen, but I know for a fact that this crowd has certainly welcomed the fact that Burke and Kay are getting that title shot. And again, we remind you, don't turn the dial. It's coming up later in this program. But what an outstanding match we have to start things off with. Mike Lozansky, the very athletic native of Vancouver, a high-flying aerial artist, if there ever was one, and against the Alaskan Bear. The Alaskan Bear has made a return to these parts. He was officiating recently with World Grand Prix Wrestling, but has decided to pull on the tights once again and step back into the ring. Bulldog, what's the story behind that?
Well, he belongs in the ring. You look at the Alaskan Bear, you look at him about 265, 270 pounds. What's he doing refereeing? His main object, get in the ring and beat up some of these smart aleck kids like Mike Lozansky. I don't expect this match to go too long. I think the Alaskan Bear is going to come out on top, and I think it's going to be real quick. Alaskan Bear hasn't been in the ring wrestling for a couple of years. So this is a big deal for him tonight, because, hey, try to come back in pro sports after a 2-year absence, Mr. Gary Maxwell, and nobody knows better than you do since you're the sports director.
Well, certainly it has been done before. You look at people like Gordie Howe and the ageless wonder Nolan Ryan, all the success he's having. No reason why the Alaskan Bears would not return to top form, but he certainly has his work cut out here with Mike Lozansky. We also should mention that coming up later in the program, we've got the Hustler, international heavyweight champion, Rip Rogers. He'll be appearing along with the likes of Big Stephen Pettipaw.
Let me just stop you there for a second. We got to say hello out there to all the great wrestling fans. Business and professional wrestling has been really, really good. All the towns have been spectacular attendance. Why? World-class championship wrestling is at its very, very best, and it's getting higher and higher. And when you got stars like Bulldog Bob Brown, Rip Rogers, and no-class Bobby Bass, Diamond and Timothy Flowers, Mike Lozansky, hey, you're going to draw the audience because the people are getting 125% every night in the ring. And it's been hot throughout the Americans. That even makes it a little bit better because we got things that we got to go after, and the only way to go after things is to win. Now, the Bears really giving it to them now.
Now, the Bears taking advantage of that tape thumb, I've noticed, and stinking it into the throat of Mike Lozansky. And I think the referee here, Greg Burnham, is going to keep a closer eye on that. Here's Lozansky going into the ropes, and the Alaskan Bear missed the target on that occasion. Here's Lozansky with a few right hands. Now lines the Bear up into the turnbuckle, front kick. And that one just grazed the chin of the Bear, enough to knock him down. Once again, the Alaskan Bear into the turnbuckles. Shoulder blocked by Lozansky. Suplex. Oh, look at that. There's a first-class suplex by Lozansky. 3, and it's all over. Mike Lozansky coming up with a very impressive win over the Alaskan Bear.
Listen, Gary, I thought the Alaskan Bear's shoulder was up. I didn't see the 3 count. I thought the referee give the guy a fast 3 count. And I'll tell you the truth, I got to look into this referee, and I got to find out where he comes from because
Greg Burnham is one of the finer officials in the NWA, and he's here with World Grand Prix Wrestling, doing an outstanding job. And speaking of outstanding, we've got more great wrestling coming up here on World Grand Prix Wrestling.
Everybody in the Maritimes is seeing me live and live in color right here on ATV, and it's certainly your pleasure, people, your pleasure.
Well, I think your pleasure is really to see this next match. And for more, let's go to our ring announcer, Joe Seelig.
Ladies and gentlemen, our second match on today's program is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Moncton, New Brunswick, weighing 228 pounds, Robert Mazereau. And his opponent hails from Quebec City, weighing 265 pounds, Butcher, the Wildman Vachon. And your referee for this match, Ron Gauguin.
Well, Butcher Vachon obviously doesn't have very many friends here in Petitcodiac, the home of the Westmoreland County Fair. That's why we're here, World Grand Prix Wrestling. It's great to be here. Hustler Rip Rogers also happy to be here.
I'm happy to be at Petitcodiac because I want to see the wild man, Butcher Vachon. You know, he's from St. Isidore. You know, and he's a great professional wrestler. He's a wild man. He's a beast. These people in Petitcodiac, they don't seem to appreciate the Butcher, but I appreciate the Butcher because he's big, rough, mean, and tough.
Well, he's certainly all of that, and maybe a little bit more, judging from some of his recent matches. I find Butcher Vachon lately has turned it up a notch here on World Grand Prix Wrestling. He's in against a newcomer, Robert Mazereau out of Moncton, who's getting his start in the pro game and doing very, very well for himself.
Hey, Robert Mazereau's a great athlete. One of these days, he could even be champion. You know, he trains for hours and hours every day at the fitness bank. He's a bouncer at the Urban Corral. He's a tough guy. He's a former boxer. He's a weightlifter. He's a bodybuilder. And he's a great athlete. And once he learns the pro game, once he learns what's going on, see, he's a rookie. He's only had a few matches, but still, he threw Butcher Vachon on his can. And that takes a lot to do because Butcher Vachon, he's mean, he's strong, he's a beast, he's a powerhouse, and he has more experience than Mazereau. But you got to give Mazereau credit. He's willing to get in that ring against anybody, and he gives it his best. I'll give him credit for that.
Well, as I recall, he gave you a fairly tough match not too long ago.
Well, of course he gave me a tough match. Like I said before, he's a great athlete. He's a bodybuilder. He's a power lifter. He trains 3 to 4 hours a day at the fitness bank in Moncton. He trains all day, and he wants to make a name for himself in professional wrestling. He wants it bad. Robert Metzerol wants it bad, and one of these days, he could be a star, and he might even take my international championship belt one of these days. But right now, he's a so-called rookie, and I'm what's on top. I'm the star of the Maritimes, and I'm the international heavyweight champion.
And, of course, the question now becomes with that international championship belt as to who is next in line, because your manager, Robert Joseph Bass, otherwise known as No Class, has been somewhat reluctant to have you put this championship on the line on television.
Well, you know, a lot of the board of directors of International Championship Wrestling, of World Grand Prix Wrestling, you know, there's guys that want title shots. Stompin' Paul Peller wants title shots. Mike Lazansky wants title shots. Stephen Pettipaw wants title shots. Buddy Lane wants title shots. Bobby Kay wants title shots. The Beast wants title shots. Leo Burke wants title shots. Hey, all you have to do is get in line and pick a number. Because I'm the international heavyweight champion. I'm not scared of anybody. I train 5 hours a day at the fitness bank. Everybody there knows it. And why am I the champion? Because I'm in better shape than any professional athlete in any sport. Because I can go 60 minutes, it doesn't matter. When these other guys get tired, I don't get tired.
But it's been also rumored, Rip, that basically you're hiding behind the title these days, that you're somewhat reluctant to put it on the line, and now Bass has jacked the price up so high no one can match it.
Oh, wait a minute, let's not discuss that. Let's discuss this match in the ring between Robert Metzerol and the Beast Butcher Vachon. Let's not confuse the issue. I'm here to report the action in the ring, and the action right now is the Butcher Man is doing quite well for himself with that well-placed elbow to the sternomastoid joint of Robert Metzerol.
So basically, as soon as we get into dollars and cents, Rip Rogers wants to steer clear and avoid any such disclosures that might damage his reputation.
Hey, I'm just here to give one man's opinion on this match. I'm here to report to the people here in the arena, here in Petty-Kodiak, and here all throughout the Maritimes to give my opinion of this match. And my opinion of this match is that Butcher Vachon, the 275-pound strong man from St. Isidore, he's going to win this match.
Well, certainly Butcher Vachon is doing a pretty good job right now. Here he is coming off the top rope, and Robert Metzerol gets out of the way just in the nick of time. And here's Butcher now off the ropes. Metzerol with a nice hip toss. Vachon now reeling somewhat. Here's Metzerol. Backdrop, and over goes the Butcher down hard on the canvas. Metzerol now a reversal into the rope.
Oh,
power slam. Power slam.
Butcher Vachon special. That's right, the Butcher Vachon Stampede, as he calls it. It's 1, 2, 3 for the Butcher Man, and St. Isidore couldn't be any prouder.
Well, I don't know about that, but certainly Vachon, with that quick power slam, he just scooped Metzerol off the ropes and was able to post the win, a convincing victory in the way it ended. And we'll be back with more great action here on World Grand Prix Wrestling. Joined now in the interview area by the one and only, and I guess we can thank God for that, Bulldog Bob Brown. Always quick with an opinion, a comment. Bulldog.
But every time I say something, people sit back and they listen. Because, you see, I make sense and you don't make sense. Let me tell you what's going on. The action's getting heavy and heavy. It's coming, you know, to the end of the season. There's a lot of unfinished business to take care of in the Maritimes. I'm talking about, here I'm standing, the greatest wrestler in the world, and I haven't got a belt. Hey, if I have to go after Rip Rogers, if I have to go after Diamond and Timothy Flowers or Bobby Bass to make a name for myself, hey, I'll wrestle. I don't care who it is. And anybody that gets in the ring with me will have to cope with me. The man that can dish it out, the man that can take it. And gentlemen, when you're on, you're on. And I just can't wait till next week because, hey, the midgets are here. Sky Low, my good buddies coming in from Montreal. Hey, exciting season coming up. The girls are on the way, and all I can tell you is, Butcher Vachon, you stick your nose in my business, and I'll slap the heck out of you.
Well, I'll tell you something, Butcher Vachon, well, here he is now. Butcher Vachon, I think, has been doing And
I don't care too much what Bob Brown say. I don't care what Rip Rogers say or Leo Bird or Steven. I just want some competition here. I've been 5 weeks unbeaten, and I beat them every night. Now they want to give me the big name here or what? What are they going to do?
Well, it's certainly time. Your time is due.
I want some big match. I want everything.
Welcome back to the Petitcodiac Arena. More action here on World Grand Prix Wrestling. We talked about Rip Rogers, his reluctance to put the championship belt on the line on television. Here we have a non-title match coming up. And for more, here's our ring announcer, Joe Seeley.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next match on today's program is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Beverly Hills, California, weighing 228 pounds, the ever-popular Buddy Lane. And his opponent, the current international heavyweight champion from New Orleans, weighing 222.5 pounds, the Hustler Rip Rogers. And your referee for this match, Greg Burnham.
Well, here we have the Hustler Rip Rogers. As I mentioned, this is a non-title match, and I bring this issue up, and I brought it up earlier with the champion himself, in the sense that Buddy Lane has certainly deserved a crack at the title, but for one reason or another, well, with the managerial maneuverings of No Class Bass, he's protected Rogers from a title shot. And Buddy Lane has certainly deserved it. We are all aware of that, the way Buddy Lane has performed over the years. Referee Greg Burnham signals for the bell, and here we go. Non-title bout here between Rogers and Lane, and we've got big Stephen Pettipaw joining us ringside. Stephen, I know, has had a couple of title matches with Rogers, but he's a slippery character, Stephen. You can't seem to keep him in the ring or get him to sign a contract or any number of things.
Now he's been here long enough, and everybody's seen how good of a technical wrestler that Rip Rogers is. Now, there's something very, very suspicious here. Bobby Bass is not at ringside.
You're right.
There's something going on somewhere, and I'm trying to figure it out. You got to keep your eyes behind your head here.
That's a good observation, Stephen, because certainly those two are, you know, thick as thieves, so to speak, pardon the pun. And you're right that No Class Bobby Bass is conspicuous by his absence here in Rip Rogers' corner.
I'm kind of interested in this match here because Buddy Lane comes out of the Vern Gagne Wrestling School out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And everybody knows that Vern Gagne is such a good amateur wrestler, a former Olympian. And Buddy was one of his top students over there. Now, we're going to see what kind of wrestling he can come up with here with Rip Rogers.
Well, I think Buddy Lane could go toe-to-toe with Rip Rogers in terms of scientific and technical wrestling ability and athletics ability. I don't think there's any question. Buddy Lane, a former fullback with the Minnesota Vikings of the NFL. But the thing about Rip Rogers is this guy will just bend any rule he can, while a guy like Buddy Lane tends to, you know, wrestle within the rules and try and win his matches fair and square. Count of two as Rogers had his shoulder down on the mat. Rogers trying to roll Lane over. That doesn't work.
A little bit of a pull of the trunks there on there, taking advantage of that hole.
Buddy Lane, a headlock on Rip Rogers. No question, Buddy Lane, a formidable opponent. Now, should Rogers lose this match, of course, he would not lose the title, but in these non-title matches,
good solid body slam. Good headlock takeover, too.
Right you are, Stephen. What happens, though, as you know, Stephen, if Buddy Lane wins this match, he becomes the #1 contender and consequently would earn the right to a full-fledged title shot against international champion Rip Rogers.
Buddy's worked very, very hard in the past couple of years. He kind of deserves a shot like that, and I would not be surprised at all that Buddy would win this match. You have two guys in there approximately same size, same weight. They're both in tremendous shape. And like there'd be no surprise at all for Buddy to come up here and have an upset.
Buddy Lane on the ropes right now, and Hustler Rip Rogers certainly in command of the situation. Here's Rogers with a shoulder block into the midsection. Now Rogers getting a reversal and off the turnbuckle And a hip toss, and down goes Rogers. Another hip toss, and there's a count of 2, and very
See
nearly.
where your wrestling experience comes up. Always goes back to the original hole that he started with. He was working on that headlock, trying to numb them neck muscles, trying to weaken his strength, and every move that he comes out goes right back to that headlock. That's good, like, experienced wrestling.
And that is schooled, I take it, through extensive amateur wrestling, that you work on an area and try and break him down that way. Weaken your opponent in one area and exploit that weakness. But here's Rip Rogers now able to break free, and now here's Rogers trying to run Lane into the turnbuckle, but no, it's the champion. His head's going into the turnbuckle. 3, 4, 5, 6 times into the turnbuckle, and down on the canvas once again is international champion Rip Rogers. And as Stephen Pettipaw mentioned, Buddy Lane going back to the headlock. This, I believe, is the 4th time in the match that Lane has exercised the headlock on Rip Rogers, the international champion.
I think Buddy opened up a little bit too much to him there. You shouldn't let him go. Even though the referee tells you to break and break, you see what happened? He was on the receiving end of that. It all started back in that turnbuckle. He pushed him in the corner. The referee said break. Buddy broke and opened up to him. You can't do that with a guy like Rip Rogers. You can't give him that little advantage.
Here's a suplex by Rogers, and a good one. And Rogers, his own cheering section here at the Petitcodiac Arena, because no one else will cheer. Here's Rogers trying to pin his man, but Lane's able to kick out and stay alive. Now Rip Rogers throwing Buddy Lane out the rope.
Sunset flip.
Here it is.
Bring him down, bring him down.
There we go. Sunset flip, but Rogers able to kick out as the champion was able to keep his wits about him.
Thumb in the eye.
You're right, Stephen. That was a blatant thumb in the eye by Rip Rogers. And you have to wonder.
Good move, good move.
Oh, here's Buddy Lane coming back with another great shot. And a vicious chop now to the throat area. Here's Lane. Big monkey flip. Big time monkey flip. And Lane is all over Rip Rogers, the international champion. Into the turnbuckle again. Here's Rogers.
DDT.
A DDT coming off the turnbuckle. What a maneuver by Rip Rogers.
That's one of the most dangerous moves in professional wrestling, the DDT. You can cripple a man so easily that way.
And the thing that made it so surprising was that Buddy Lane was in complete control, or so we thought, but Rip Rogers was able to reach into his bag of tricks and pull out the victory.
First of all, get the camera on me. I'm the international heavyweight champion. I just beat Buddy Lane. He's a great wrestler. But for you Stephen Pettipaws, you Mike Lazansky's, you Beast, you Leo Burke, you Bobby Kay, you Stompin' Paul Peller, it doesn't matter to me. Bring them all on. I'll take you on in one night, one after the other. Because I'm the ultimate machine, baby. Train 5 hours a day at the fitness bank. If anybody wants to get in the ring with me, bring it on, because I don't even break a sweat.
Hustler Rip Rogers, he is still the international champion, although he didn't sign for that match, of course. But as it stands now, he's got the belt, and as a result, has a chance to call a lot of the shots here in World Grand Prix Wrestling. Don't go away. We've still got the Continental Tag Team Championship on the line, featuring Leo Burke and Bobby Kay, challenging the likes of Diamond Timothy Flowers and Leo Burke. It's all coming up. Well, we're now joined by the likes of No Class Bobby Bass and Diamond Timothy Flowers, and you talk about a couple of individuals who have certainly done very little in terms of making friends here in the Maritimes. Maritime Canada, known very well for its hospitality, but of course, Bobby Bass something like hospitality
You
and
know, a
goodwill
lot of people live in a dreamland
It's not
around
your
here.
vocabulary.
Let's shut up, will you? A lot of people live in a dreamland. You got Bob Brown running around saying he wants to fight Rip Rogers, he wants to fight the Diamond Man and the Batman. Well, Brown, anytime you want to get brave and stop playing with the little boys, come and see us. We don't back down. Timmy, I'm going to let you talk a little bit, brother, because that's all I had to say.
I thought you were all buddies with both.
What do you mean, buddies? I told you before, no friends in wrestling. Individualism. Let me tell you something, Leo Burke, Bobby K, Stephen Pettipaw, Paul Peller, Mike Lazansky, Buddy Lane, Bob Brown. I'm losing it, and I'm going to lose it some more. And when I go nuts, I'm going to kick some teeth, rip some eyes, rip some noses, and then it's going to be all on. Bobby,
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
You probably don't
International
know.
champion Rip
You
Rogers.
probably don't know, but we're coming to Kentville tonight. That's right, Kentville tonight. And then tomorrow afternoon, I'll be heading to North Sydney. After North Sydney that night, I'll be going to Inverness or something like that. It's going to be cocaine. But tonight, that's right, tonight, I'm coming to Kentville.
We're back at the Petticodiac Arena. We've got the Continental Tag Team Champions, Bass and Flowers, ready to sit back and watch this next match featuring one of the great favorites here in the Maritimes, Big Stephen Pettipaw. Let's go to our ring announcer, Joe Seelig.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next match on today's program is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Shediac, New Brunswick, weighing 258 pounds, Big Stephen Pettipaw. And his opponent hails from Winnipeg, Manitoba, weighing 240 pounds, Chi Cruz. And your referee for this match, Ron Gauguin.
Big Stephen Pettipaw in against Chi Cruz here on World Grand Prix Wrestling, coming to you from the Westmoreland County Fair in Petticodiac. And we'd certainly like to take a moment before we chat with the team of Bass and Flowers to say hello to all the shut-ins all over the Maritimes, people who, for one reason or another, can't get out to the matches. We certainly hope to see you. Attendance has been great at World Grand Prix Wrestling events everywhere. And we certainly don't want anyone to miss action, which has been hot and heavy, and it promises to get even hotter in this program coming up, because we've got the Continental Tag Team Championship belts on the line. The #1 contenders, Leo Burke and Bobby Kay, are stepping in. And Bobby Bass just waiting to get in the word edgewise.
That's right. You know what? When I tell you mean a Diamond Man, we don't back down from anybody. We don't. Hey, they have not been together very long as a team. But they came and he said, we want a tag team championship match with Diamond and Bass. We said, okay, man, this is how it's going to be. We'll give you a tag team champion because we do not back down from anybody. And that's the way it's going to be. And when we get in that ring tonight, Daddy, you're going to see what's going to happen when 4 great athletes meet and only one emerges victorious. There's going to be a match. There's going to be a battle, Diamond Man. Am I right, brother?
That's right. When me and Bass get done with these guys, I call them the Maritime Mongoloids, the French Connection, whatever you want to call them. They're no good. They're low life, man. We're class, first class. We're going to take them down 1, 2, 3 right in the middle of the ring in front of all these people in Petticoat Junction here.
Diamond Timothy Flowers, you heard him, the man with the haircut.
Good big flip tap there by Stephen Pettipaw. See that? I'm right by Stephen Pettipaw.
Hey, Bobby, I'm waiting for a train to come through the ring here, Petticoat Junction here.
Well, this is Petticodiac, New Brunswick, gentlemen.
What Petticoat Cognac? What do you call it? It's like cognac beer? What do you name? What name do they play?
Petticodiac. Petticodiac.
What's this famous for? Nothing?
Yeah, absolutely nothing.
Well, right now it's...
Let's get back here to the main
right
event
now,
here.
though, it's famous for the Westmoreland County Fair and for World Grand Prix Wrestling.
You're right to one point. It's famous for 3 things. Grand Prix Wrestling, World Grand Prix Wrestling, Diamond Timothy Flowers, and woo, you're truly Bobby Joe Bass, the Batman. But let me say this. Tonight, right here tonight, you're going to see why we are the Continental Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. And you know why? Because we train relentlessly. We travel together. All we do is eat, we sleep, we talk wrestling. We got to move down. Hey, we got more moves than a snake has ribs. And you're going to see every one of them tonight, Daddy, because I tell you what, when it comes to winning the big bucks, the Diamond Man likes the money, and I like the money. Diamond Man, brother.
You know why we're going to win? There's only one reason, because we're the only real men in Canada, the only real men in the world. And you can take that to the bank, because we will back it up, Bobby Kay and Leo Burke, when we put your face in the mat and I kick your teeth down your throat.
No, I can't understand Maxwell.
Well, certainly, I'm hearing an awful lot of talk, and I'll tell you one thing.
Hey, whoa, you're hearing compliments here. You're not anybody knocking nobody, so get your act together.
No. What I'm hearing
let me
is
tell you
all
something.
kinds
Let me
of
tell you
talk.
something now, okay? Shut up and let me talk. You got a mouth like Niagara Falls. Keep running. Let me shut it off for 1 minute. When I tell you we're going to do in the ring, we're going to do. You get me mad now. When I get mad, people get hurt. You understand that? You might get a punch in the mouth right here. So shut your face and let me talk. Timmy,
Okay, Bobby, relax. Don't forget, Maxwell's just one of those 9 to 5 radio guys, right? He plays a lousy game of golf. In fact, what do you shoot, did you say?
Don't get me hot.
In the high hundreds? Oh, I shoot 69, brother.
What a twosome.
I think anybody who played golf will be dumb anyway. You hit a little ball, you chase it, you hit it again.
Right.
What a dumb game.
It's boring. Just like you, Maxwell, boring. Golf. Oh.
Well, I can't imagine the team of Bass and Flowers finding themselves in any foursome here in the Maritimes, put it that way.
Let's cut through the crap and get down to the nitty-gritty. We're going to beat them to death, and we're going to beat them bad, and there's no way we're not going to beat them. So get up through your dumb, thick Nova Scotia skull, and you understand what I'm talking about. You're Mongolian to me.
Well, here we are in Petitcodiac, and we're certainly hearing all kinds of talk. And as I was trying to say earlier, all that talk means there's going to have to be an awful lot of action to back it up. Speaking of action, gentlemen, we've got a pretty good match here with Stephen Pettipaw and Chi Cruz.
You know, Maxwell, everything we do, everything we say we're going to do, we go out and do it, because we're real men.
Oh, look at that.
Big side power slam there.
The side power slam, indeed, from Big Stephen Pettipaw.
She better worry about Chi Cruz, baby.
Chi Cruz.
Look at him.
Take a look, fella.
You better worry about Chi Cruz, Pettipaw, because you're next. I'm going to take you out myself.
You're going down, you're going out. You're going on a picnic, but you ain't coming back.
Jack and Jill went up the hill. And down goes Stephen Pettipaw.
Bass and Flowers.
And Mary had
Certainly.
a little lamb. The doctor said, who cares?
Bass and Flowers.
Everybody loves it,
A
baby.
comedy team
Everybody
appearing
loves
next as they try and defend their Continental Tag
When
Team
we try to
Championship
defend,
belts.
we always defend. We always emerge victorious. And even here in Petticoat Junction with the train running through the building here, we're still going to win. And believe me, Leo Burke and Bobby Kay are going to wish they were underneath that train.
We've got Chi Cruz and Big Stephen Pettipaw, and if you were scoring this match on points, you'd have to give Pettipaw the edge, and here's a reversal now with Pettipaw going into the turnbuckle. Oh, a good move there by Chi. Good move by Cruz. You got to give the man credit when it's due. Here's Cruz again, whipping Pettipaw.
Whipping him good, too, isn't he?
Turnbuckle.
Uh-huh. Yep. Now let's see you commentate there, Maxwell, on this great match.
Now, there's something that's uncalled for. Cruz raking away in the eyeballs of Pettipaw.
I think you're wrong. Oh, lovely flying elbow, Maxwell. Well, comment on that.
Flying elbow, yes, indeed.
You got to drag this, don't you? Like a drag a dog to water.
Neatly executed.
Look at that.
Chi Cruz, no question, enjoying the upper hand for the moment as he comes down hard with an axe handle on the back of Pettipaw. There's a left elbow.
1, 2, 3.
Rolls him over. Just the count of one, though. Pettipaw able to kick out quickly.
Quickly.
Here's Pettipaw getting to his feet now. Into the ropes. Pettipaw coming off. A big backdrop by Chi Cruz. And Chi strutting his stuff in the center of the ring here in Petitcodiac. World Grand Prix Wrestling ringside with Gare Maxwell and No Class Bobby Bass.
I never heard
you mentioned earlier was conspicuous by his absence from the corner of one Rip Rogers, leading some observers to suggest that there may be a falling out between the international champion and his manager.
No falling out. I have business in the back of the dressing room. For contract I had to sign for upcoming matches for Rip, and I can't be at two places at the same time.
So those rumors have been put to rest, although I'm sure tongues will still be wagging across the Maritimes.
Oh, of course you will. You know, like you're like an old woman here, you know, to wash, talking to the lady next door. Your tongue never stops. You talk about this, you talk about that, but you have no fact of what you talk about. And I know this to be a fact, that you have no fact. I know it's a fact.
And that's the fact, is
That's
it?
a fact. I'm
All
telling you
right.
right now.
As far as the match in the ring is concerned, Chi-Chi Cruz still enjoying the upper hand as he rakes the back of big Stephen Pettipaw.
But the next match is the
Referee
one we got to
Ron
worry
Gauguin
about.
keeping
The
it
big
close.
tag team
What's
coming
that?
up. The big tag team coming up in a few minutes. I got to leave you now, man, to get ready and psych myself up for it. Well,
I'll tell you something, Bass. You better get yourself ready because I know for a fact, speaking of facts, the team of Burke and Kay,
are hungry.
they are hungry and they've been around a long, long time.
You think I was
They've
born
enjoyed
yesterday,
a lot
pal?
of success
You
in the
think
past.
you think I haven't? You think I never had a success in my career? You think I never been ready for things? You think I never been hungry? Well, let me tell you something, Maxwell. I'm the hungriest man you're ever going to meet when it comes down.
There you have him, no-class Bobby Bass making his way back to the dressing room, getting ready for that upcoming title match. Here's Pettipaw now whipping Cruz off the ropes, and oh my, Stephen coming flying across, count of 3, and Stephen Pettipaw was able to come from behind, so to speak, and gain the victory over Chi-Chi Cruz. Pettipaw certainly had to use all his resources in that match, though, as Cruz put up quite a battle. Cruz now complaining that Pettipaw pulled the tights, but we know that's certainly not the case. As Chi-Chi goes back to the dressing room, and we're going to take a quick timeout and be back with the Continental Tag Team Championship Showdown between Leo Burke and Bobby Kay and the champions, Diamond Timothy Flowers and No Class, Bobby Bass. We'll be right back. Pleasure to have some Maritime favorites joining us for a chat. We've got, of course, Stompin' Paul Peller to my far left, Bobby Kay and Leo Burke. And I guess the first item of business, Leo, is the Continental Tag Team Championship belts. They're on the line. The contracts have been signed. You've got all the legal paperwork out of the way, and it's going to come down to what happens in the ring. You and Bobby against Diamond Timothy Flowers and No Class Bass.
You're absolutely right, Gare. It's a double thrill, so to speak. Not only am I getting a championship match, but what's more important to me, I'm getting to team up again with my brother Bobby Kay. We haven't been together for some 12 years now, and that's what excites me. And I heard on the monitor earlier about Timothy Flowers says he's losing it. Well, yes, he is losing it. He's losing a lot more. Starting tonight, he's going to lose the tag team championship.
Well, what do you do with a guy like Diamond Timothy Flowers in particular, Bobby?
Well,
you see him just going crazy here, and
yes.
You almost think he should be committed or something.
Well, they should all be committed when it comes to Bob Brown and Rogers and them. But the only thing I have in mind right now, I'm very happy that I came back into wrestling because I see all, like you were saying, the Maritimers, Paul Peller, and Team my brother is a thrill of a lifetime for me. Stephen Pettipaw, and I understand my brother the Beast is going to come back. So all the Maritimers are going to be here, and all the Maritimers are supporting us, and we're going to go all the way and hope we can take the title for once for all and prove to them that we can do it.
Well, Bobby, you're making a tremendous comeback in wrestling, and of course, I think a championship belt, Leo, would only cap off that comeback.
Yes, but let's not forget Rip Rogers. I haven't forgotten about you neither.
The match that a lot of fans in the Maritimes have waited for. We have certainly waited. I know Bulldog has waited to see this, and we're all just sitting here with great anticipation. The Continental Tag Team Championship belts are on the line. Ring announcer Joe Seelig has more.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next match on today's program is scheduled for one fall and a 60-minute time limit for the International Tag Team Championship. Introducing the challengers in this match, making their way to the ring area. First from Dorchester, New Brunswick, weighing 233 pounds, Leo Burke. And his tag team partner, also from Dorchester, New Brunswick, weighing 223 pounds, Bobby Kay. Introducing the current Continental Tag Team Champions, first from New York, weighing 252 pounds, Diamond Timothy Flowers. And his tag team partner from Pampa, Texas, weighing 242 pounds, No Class, Bobby Bass. And your referee for this match, Ron Gauguin.
Well, we're all set to go here, Bulldog. Referee Ron Gauguin has secured those championship belts, and they're coming over here to the table where they will just sit here in limbo for the next, well, however long it takes. It's scheduled for 60 minutes.
I'm certainly not going to be surprised. I'm not going to be disgruntled. And I'm not going to be happy and stuff like that because I know Bass and Timothy Flowers are going to defend their title with pride. They're going to go out and they're going to win the big match.
There you see those championship belts. That's what's on the line. Here in this match, it'll be Diamond Timothy Flowers into the ring first for the champions, along with Bobby Kay, who's in the midst of a very successful comeback. And I think even you, Bulldog Bob Brown, has to agree that Bobby Kay has made an impressive return to professional wrestling.
Well, he certainly made an impressive return, you know. He was washed up as a country singer. Now he's going to get back into wrestling. Hey, listen, he's going to be washed up after this match because I'll tell you, these guys are going to go out and they're going to give it to Bobby Kay and Leo Burke. They got a lot of things to prove. You know, like I told you early in the show, it'll be beyond me how Bobby Kay and Leo Burke can be #1 ranking for tag team championship. You've got to explain it to me because I'll tell you what, I'm dumbfounded. I just can't understand
Well, it's something...
how the committee has picked these two guys to go against the champions right off the bat. I don't believe it. I'm going to tell you what, it's not fair.
It's something that'll have to be addressed to the officials of World Grand Prix Wrestling, but certainly that's the case now. Burke and Kay, the #1 contenders, they're getting their shot right here, scheduled for 60 minutes.
Listening to you is like listening to the producer. Both of you know nothing about professional wrestling. And when you say they deserve it, how can you say that when Bobby Kay just started back? He's got to stand in line.
Well, I think it's based on past performance, and certainly the fact that he's tagged in with his brother now, Leo Burke, and I think you got to look at their record over the years and the great tradition that their family has brought to the sport of professional wrestling, and they're
just
good
like Bobby Bass just
they're
said,
good standing in the
politics.
community. A lot of factors, I think, are taken into account.
How do you know they're good standing in the community? You don't know how they live.
Well, sure. I mean, these guys are exemplary citizens.
I hear they live out in a cow barn out in Meadowbrook.
They're role models for the youth of our nation. I could go on and on. Great example of what clean living and honest hard work is all about. Leo Burke and Bobby Kay. Now it's Burke back in against Diamond Timothy Flowers. So far, I think Burke and Kay have held the upper hand in this match.
Well, they certainly have held the upper hand, but don't forget, the bottom line is they're not champions.
Shoulder block, down goes Diamond Timothy. Here's Leo coming off and drops the left knee to make it the right knee right on the forehead of Diamond Timothy Flowers.
Illegal knee drop to the back. Absolutely illegal. And right in front of referee Ron Goguet, and he let it go by. Now there was an illegal tag. They just changed Bobby Bass out of it, and here they're allowing this tag. Now you know there was a tag here.
Well, I thought there might have been a tag. Actually, I was distracted by Bass myself as he tried to interfere. Now we've got Burke and Flowers still in there. They're working on the left arm of Diamond Timothy Flowers. That's an arm where Flowers has had some shoulder difficulty, and they're trying to exploit that. And here's another arm drag, and down goes no-class Bobby Bass, kicking and screaming the whole time.
Referee don't even listen to him. You know, he pulled Bobby Bass's hair.
There's not a lot of hair to grab there. Come on, Bob. Here's Bobby Kay. Again, now working on the left arm of Bobby Bass.
It'll be a pleasure to see you next week. I'm going to get him back in the ring next week. You know, wrestling the rookie sensational of the year, the greatest athlete that ever came out of Western Canada. Of course, everybody knows him. The girls, they die when he walks into the ring. They
Mike
scream,
Lazinski.
Mike Lazinski. And I'll tell you the truth, I'm really looking forward to the match because I got something to show to Mike, that veterans will overcome youth any day of the week.
Well, there's certainly a lot to be said for experience, but I think Lazinski, with his victory earlier over the Alaskan Bear, shows that he is quickly gaining experience. Here's Burke getting out of the way, and no-class Bobby Bass is back down in his keister here in this championship match. The Continental Tag Team belts up for grabs, and I'll tell you, Leo Burke and Bobby Kay have really turned back the clock. You talk about what experience does. It's like they've never missed a beat.
Well, you see now the illegal tag right now. You just saw it. But I'll tell you what, they're smart. They're a smart pair. They come in, they're working that arm. Wrestling wrestling is what it's all about. When you read the marquee outside the building, it says professional wrestling at its best. This is what Leo Burke and Bobby Kay are doing. They're working the arm. They're taking advantage of everything they can possibly do. You know, and it's good wrestling. I will not take that away from them. But I don't take it lightly when they make those tags illegal.
Well, there's a legal tag, and here's Leo Burke stepping back in. They're also tagging very quickly, Burke and Kay, not staying in any longer than they have to. Now, here's Leo in the wrong part of town. Diamond Timothy Flowers coming in now. Here's Flowers slamming Burke head first into the turnbuckle. There's a whip, and into the turnbuckle he goes, and Flowers hit the shoulder post. Hip toss, and down goes the Diamond Man from New York City.
Flowers has got himself into a lot of trouble, along with Bobby Bass. You know, they got to get out of this. You know, I'll tell you the truth. They keep working this arm, you know, and both arms are going to be numb. You notice Bobby Bass in the corner shaking the arm off. I'll tell you, your arm becomes numb, you know, after 3 or 4 minutes.
I think you have to agree the champions haven't looked sharp. There's Flowers missing another charge into Bobby Kay.
There's no question about it, but then again, Garrett, maybe they're saving the best for last.
Well, I don't know. The way they were talking earlier, you'd have thought that by now their arms would be raised in victory, but talk is one thing, backing it up is certainly another, and Burke and Kay are doing a tremendous job here at the Petitcodiac Arena. We've got Bobby Bass now tagging in and chopping away in the throat area. Now right to the midsection. Here's Bass coming down with an axe handle on Leo Burke. Kicking away on Leo. Crowd is starting to get behind Leo Burke and Bobby Kay.
Well, now you're seeing the best coming out of Bass and Flowers. You're seeing why they're the Continental Tag Team Champions. I told you, they could be saving the best for last. And boy, they're taking it right to Leo Burke right now.
Well, here's Leo Burke. He is definitely in the wrong part of town. Burke. Burke now on the ropes. Here's Diamond Timothy Flowers. Oh, using the rope as leverage and able to come down hard in the throat area. Here's Flowers off the rope.
Beautiful side chop right across the neck, and it's really a stun Leo Burke. I think this match is all but over, Gary Maxwell. I don't think Leo Burke could come back out of this.
Oh, it's not over yet, Yogi, because No Class just missed big time there on Leo. Here's Burke now being held by Diamond Timothy Flowers. Bass with a few right hands on Leo Burke, and here's Flowers wrapping the restraining rope around the neck of one Leo Burke.
I would say Leo Burke's in big trouble now, and he was in the wrong corner.
He is in trouble, no question. Okay, here's Bass now off the ropes, and look at that, Leo Burke able to tag in. Here comes Bobby Kay. Bobby Kay elbowing Flowers, now going after the Bass man. Bobby Kay whipping Bass into the turnbuckle again. He goes after Diamond Timothy, hauling him into the ring. Now we've got Flowers body slammed. Bass body slammed. Here's Flowers now rolling Kay off. Now keep in mind the two legal men in the ring are Kay and Bass. Here's an abdominal stretch.
Oh,
and
you're not going
Flowers
to get away with that,
break
you know,
it up.
especially when now they're all four in the ring. Leo Burke
All
should be
four in the
disqualified.
ring. All four men in the ring. Here we've got Burke putting Bass into the abdominal stretch. No, they can't get it on. Outside the ring now, Burke and Bass. And it's Bobby Kay. Let's keep this in mind. Bobby Kay and No Class Bass are the legal men in the ring. Bulldog.
Oh, yes, I'll tell you, it's all over right now.
Here's Flowers. He was going to the top rope, then he stomped away on Leo Burke. Outside the ring, Bass clotheslines his partner. And here's Bass and Kay, again, the two legal men in the ring. There it is! It's all over! The new Continental Tag Team Champions! What a great finish a tremendous finish, folks. What excitement.
Great upset in professional wrestling. One of the biggest upsets in professional wrestling. All I can tell you is, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try and get him over here. Come here, boys. I need to talk to you about winning the championship. Just a minute. Come here. I need to talk to you. I want to be the first one to congratulate you on winning the tag team championship. But although, you know, I thought you cheated on corners, and I didn't think that you deserved to win the belts. But I think you're two great athletes, and I think you deserve to be champions. But then again, I'm the world's greatest liar.
Well, you're the world's greatest liar, is right. All you have to do if you doubt our ability, pick yourself a partner and meet Bobby and I any day of the week, any place, you name it.
I told you, ladies and gentlemen, there's your true champions. I don't think they deserve to be champions. And Gary Maxwell, what do you think of the upset?
I think it's just fantastic because it was a great match. We knew the champions seemed to have something missing, and certainly full value of the win as far as I'm concerned for Leo Burke and Bobby Kay.
Get out of here. Hey, you saw me here, and the man, we got beat by 2 bumps who politics, and you saw it, and you probably call it like a wimp that you are.
We're gonna slap you right here, Maxwell. We're gonna slap you in the
All night we saw.
You're the one that opened your big mouth. That's the
All
one.
night
You're the
you
one.
make me sick.
Dear Burke, buddy, you made the worst mistake of your life because we will get our belts back because we're coming after you 1,000%.
The champions didn't have it tonight, whether they care to admit it or not.
Tell one minute.
We got ripped off.
Ripped off, brother.
I wasn't even in the ring. 2-on-1
Tune in
against the
next
best.
week for more of the best World Grand Prix Wrestling. See you later.